Yo, welcome to Crates 808. Today we've got a bona fide legend with us, the man who put you in a New York state of mind, the producer with the biggest mass appeal, the guy who kicked in your door to bring you the most unique signature sound in rap. You know his steez, it's DJ Premier, man. How you doing, bro?
All right, good. Thanks for having me.
Mate, thank you for coming on and blessing us, man. So first thing we usually ask all of our guests, what's the least hip-hop thing you've done in the last 24 hours, Premier?
The least hip-hop?
Mm-hmm.
I would say, the least hip hop thing I did in the last 24 hours was watching Frasier on TV.
That is achingly not hip hop.
That's not hip hop, not
good.
at all. Even though Frasier was a dope character on Cheers, but not on Frasier.
No, fair. That's a good one. I like that. Okay, man, but let's kick off. So I want to start first of all with the background, Premier's background.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I want to know, how did hip hop enter your life?
Just like everybody else. Well, I come from the early era. You know, obviously they call the official birth of the culture in the year of 1973. So because of that, in 73, I was in the third grade in elementary school. The early elements of hip hop obviously come from soul, funk, R&B, jazz, really just anything, because you know, even new wave music was a big part of the culture. You know, I have the world famous Supreme Team, Malcolm McLaren, Do You Like Scratching, bonus CD that came out years ago, and there's a lot of interview skits with Malcolm McLaren talking about how he ran the Africa Bambaataa, and he said I see this big black hulking guy with a jean jacket that has the Sex Pistols album cover on the back and says "Never mind the bollocks."
Yeah,
Sex Pistols. And he's like, "What do you know about that?" And he's like, "Man, I love the Sex Pistols." He's like, "You know, who are you?" And then he's like, "Hey, I'm doing a big party up in the Bronx, and you should come and check it out and see our scene." And he said it was scary, and just the people looked just so horrifying, like they were just gonna kill you. And he introduces himself and said, "I'm Africa Bambaataa." So during that time, he started to see what this whole culture was about, and that's similar to me as well. As my grandfather lived in Brooklyn. My family used to always take summer, breaks to go see my mom's father. Obviously, being from Texas and being a country boy going into New York, you're already fascinated by the action. My mom started to get to a point where me and my sisters, they didn't always want to go every summer, but I still did because, for one, I'm the only boy in the family. I have all sisters, and my grandfather and I were really into sports and the music, and he would always take me to baseball games, and he had this very vintage car that he used to drive, and people would see us at the stoplights. "Hey, man, you want to sell that?" And he's like, "No, I want to keep my car." And he's like, just all the time, "Hey, you want to ever sell that car?" And all the time. And so we got very, very close. Well, remained close. And then one day, that's when video games was like the new norm, pinball machines. And there was a place called Playland in Times Square that was very, very famous. And during that time, he used to take me there to play video games. And there was a guy set up with two turntables, and they had the break dancers, dancing for money. Where you just put your hat out and they give you coins and dollars. And I was always into records because my mother collected records because she's an art teacher. So she used to paint in the house all the time and play all the latest records. And every time she went shopping for records, she would take me. So when I saw the DJ having two of the same record and repeating it on beat, I just couldn't understand, how is he doing that? And what is that thing that's bridging the two turntables together? I didn't know that was a mixer. Mm-hmm. And then I remember when we went back to school, for after the summer, they were like, what'd you do on your vacation? I was like, man, I saw a guy take two records, and at that time, I didn't know it was called a break. I said, and he kept repeating the part we like. That's what we called it, the part we like, so. It was hard to explain, but that's how much of a new thing it was. Mm-hmm. And then later on, I learned that, because when I was brought up, my mother was like, "Don't you ever put your fingerprints on the record. You hold it by the sides."
Oh my God, Jay.
If I see your fingerprints on there, I'm gonna whip your ass. That's how we knew, never put your fingerprints on the record. Now with scratching, we got fingerprints everywhere.
Yeah, man. So what was that conversation? Because I'm just thinking, DJ Premier, you've seen this. It's the birth of hip hop. You then go and talk to your parents at some point, I'm guessing, and you must have sat down with them and said, look, I want to do this for a living.
Yes.
Like, what was there a chat?
Yeah, I was in college. This is 1984. I just graduated high school, and I didn't know I was studying computer science, but I wanted to be in music, but I just I never had a band, and at that time it was still about putting a band together. I had just learned how to play bass and drums because Travis Scott's father was one of my OG homies when I was growing up in my neighborhood in Prairie View, Texas. So Travis Scott's Travis Scott's real name is Jack Webster Jr. So his father's name is Jack Webster. It's Jacques Webster, actually.
Okay.
So, and then Jacques' brother is Travis Webster. So I don't know where the Scott come from. Maybe that's Travis' real middle name. I don't know, but Travis, and then they have a younger sister named Sonora who's closer to my age. And Travis was always the life of the party, when we were little. And I don't mean Travis Scott, but his uncle was. You always wanted Travis at your party because he was fun and everything. And we used to always go over to their house. And their mother, Mrs. Webster, was my English teacher.
Oh,
yeah. So
it's all connected, man.
Yeah. So we used to always go over their house, and that's how I learned. They're the first ones we ever knew with a pool table. I learned how to play pool, and then they had a drum set and bass, and I learned how to play instruments over at their house, and I got better and better at it. And so I took piano lessons as a kid, but by the time you're in the second grade, you're like, "Ma, I don't want to do piano lessons. I want to go play with my friends." And
for sure,
you leave it alone. But I ended up having to actually value my lessons because I now play keys in order to make my notes happen when I record. But all of that, obviously that's why Travis got such a talent as well. He comes from a musical family, and his father taught me how to ride mini bikes and motorcycles, all that stuff. So we go way back.
Yeah, so that conversation was easier, just an easy conversation.
Oh yeah. But all that trickled down into my knowledge and bettering myself as a musician. So my main thing was the reason why I told my parents I wanted to move to New York and give it a shot to be in the game, because at that time New York was the best reference, and you either go there or LA, and at that time New York was still dominating the hip hop game. So I said, if I don't make it, let me at least see if I can make it before I graduate from college. That way, if I don't make it, I come back to college and I didn't graduate with nothing. I didn't want to graduate and not go on to something to do in the future, and then come back home, as a unsuccessful, artist that went to make it. So I said, if I don't make it, I still have to finish school and I have something to do. And I took the risk basically based off of believing that I could make it. I really was that confident that I had the talent.
So did you always go under Premier? Was that like your first DJ?
No, I was Wax Master C, because I was DJ Chris.
Okay.
Then I was Wax Master C, and then I started a group. The group started me because I didn't know what the first thing of putting a group together for hip hop. I had two MCs, and we had like a Flavor Flav down with us named Styly T. My MC's name was Top Ski, and then we had Sugar Pop. We were called MCs in Control.
That's sick. Yeah.
So it was everything was MIC, baby. MIC. So that turned into another name called the Inner Circle Posse, but there was a reggae group called Inner Circle Posse, Inner Circle. And I always like MCs in Control. It just sounded like some Run DMC, dope fly shit. And then next thing you know, we put our demos together, and it got the attention of a friend of mine that worked at a record store in Houston. His name is Carlos Garza, and the record store is called Sound Waves. It was the go-to record store in the hood. That had everything that you're looking for if you were looking for the most pure everything, from 12-inch singles to cassette tapes to just the hottest singles. That store knew everything, and everybody came in town. The pimps, players, everybody. Just the most rawest of black people came to Soundwaves on South Main and Merworth, right there by the Astrodome and right by Astro World. And Astro World was the first place that we went to. It's just an amusement park. It's torn down now, but the amusement park, was the first one to do the Fresh Fest. So I got to see UTFO, Fat Boys, Rockmaster Scott and the Dynamic 3, Nucleus, Slick Rick and Dougie Fresh. Well, Dougie Fresh and the Get Fresh crew, featuring MC Ricky D. Yeah, well, he wasn't Slick Rick yet.
Yeah.
Fat Boys, Houdini. And to see that back in 1984 is like, wow, this is what I want to do. Then LL Cool J comes into town, Run DMC comes into town and performed at my college, and with Dana Dane as the opening act with Clark Kent, and I was just like, this is definitely what I want to do.
Yeah, man, that's sick.
And then when I packed up and just said I'm going now, my dad was like, you have no plan. Like, what are you doing? And he's an instructor. My mother was my art teacher, and my dad was my dean at my college. So he was just worried that, without a plan, how you going to make it work. But I was like, Dad, I can feel it. I'm going to make it. And I went down there and struggled quite a bit and took a few odd jobs. And eventually I was, my demo tape made its way over to Wild Pitch Records because Carlos told them about me. And Guru used to listen to all the demos that came in because at Wild Pitch, it was just a husband and wife business. So Guru was like, go over their house all the time and just listen to the demo tapes. So he heard mine and he heard Lord Finesse's. And Lord Finesse got signed through the strength of Guru saying, I think you should sign him as well. And boom, next thing you know, Finesse became our label mate, and that's the first artist I produced. Lord Finesse said, I want to bring my guys in, and he brought in Showbiz, Diamond D, and AG, and that's how we became friends. And then the next thing you know, they introduced me to Fat Joe, and Buck Wild and Big L, and really Big L was through Lord Finesse, and next thing you know, they said we're gonna start the Digging in the Crates crew, so they came up with that whole thing, digging and all that stuff. So
man, I tell you what, I love the education, man. The education here, it feels like you had so many influences going in. I mean, we can talk about your career, but if we talk about the new album and where you are now, like sonically, spiritually, mentally, first of all, big up, man. Heavy album.
Thank you.
It's all the proper 90s heads on this podcast have been loving that album. One thing, there's been a lot of things we could talk about, and I've heard you talk about how it all came about and stuff like that, and the long process, long journey you came to this. One of the things that struck me was, I remember seeing that promo, Naz's voice, and I was like, holy, and just like, okay, this is going viral. And then, where was the Nas feature though on the album?
I'd asked him to be on Bad Name way early in the project. Like Bad Name was the second song I even did on the album. Bless the Mic was the first one because I was like, where do I go with this? Where do I start? Am I ready to do this and just go for an album and just go and make this album and just not tell anyone? And I said, yeah, we're not telling anyone. We're just gonna do it. I'd rather just say it's done. I didn't want to say we're working on a new Gangstarr album, even though that still would have made the fans happy, like, oh, I can't wait to hear it. But I'd rather just say, done, it's coming out, and it worked. Yeah. So Nas was supposed to be on Bad Name. It didn't work out schedule-wise, and I was like, well, let me figure out if I can get you on a different song. And just time-wise, then he went out on tour with Mary J. Blige on an extensive tour, the two of them, and it just wasn't coinciding with the time I wanted to deliver and turn it in. And then when we started working on how we were going to promote the project, shout to Alchemist and Panchi from the NYGs, they both suggested I start a rumor that there might be an album. And I was like, you know what? We should reenact the I Chill skit from Hard to Earn. And I called Nas and said, yo, man, you got to at least do something for me. I need you to send me a voicemail. A voice message and just text us just saying, hey, yo, is it true? There's a Gangstarr album, hit me back. I Chill. And he texted it to me right as soon as we got off the phone. And actually, we didn't even get on the phone. I just texted him and explained. And because he already knew about the album. And then he sent it right back, and I was like, damn, how do we do this? And I shout to Poe, my videographer. I said, yo, just film that office phone. Just stay on, keep your camera on that. And he said, she want to do different angles? I'm like, nah, just keep it right on the phone, and I'm going to put the voice message on the board to give it a little more flavor and boost. And I said I'm going to play the same Monty Alexander record that sample is known. Obviously, Large Professor was working on I Just Want to Chill when he was with Nas back when it's on the Hard to Earn album. So I said I'm going to reenact that and play that same sample. But just flew it in, put it on the track, and just leveled it out, ran it, and then I said, yeah, sounds good. Okay, now film that. Stay on that phone. And then he was like, yo, I'll be home in about a half hour. I'll send it to you with a clip. And I like how he made it even wiggly looking and all that. And I was like, yo, this is perfect. Yeah. I remember me and my manager, Ian, was sitting there going, okay, when we hit share on Instagram, this is about to start everything. And we're looking at it like, you ready? And, cause I had to, he said, what are you going to type as a caption? I said, I'm just going to put, I better call Nas. That's it.
Oh, snap. That worked.
And he goes, you ready? And we're all like little kids, and all of a sudden we just go, boom, and then, it takes a little blue bar to go across, and then once I saw it popped up, we're like, "Woo, it's about to be on!" And everybody just started calling me, "Yo, is it true? Is it true?" And I ignored everybody. I didn't say yes. A couple people let the cat out the bag that I was surprised. They were like, yo, I heard it already. And I'm like, yo, we're not confirming as an album. Yeah, what are y'all doing? And oh man, it's dope. Wait till you hear it. I'm like, yo, and these are all people that I let hear, in the early stages, and they're already letting the cat out the bag. And one of the guys I called and I said, dude, what are you doing? He goes, well, Nas confirmed it. I'm like, no, he didn't. He said, is it true? Yeah. He did not confirm it. They're like, oh man, everybody knows now. I'm like, whatever. So I said, the next thing I do, I'm not telling anybody nothing. Not, not even my own son. I'm not telling him either. And he's only 8 years old. So,
talking about sons, though, one of my questions I had for you was, I've got a little boy. He's like 2.5 years old, and I'm thinking, how am I going to get him into the stuff I love, right? The stuff that's made me passionate in life. And I was going to ask you if you could recommend one track to play for my boy when he's ready from a primo section. What would it be?
Definitely gotta play Mass Appeal.
Oh, bro, that's that is.
You gotta play that.
Yeah.
That was one of our biggest hits of our career, and it was based off of making fun of how radio is soft. It was softening up hip hop and watering it down. So that was like my joke to radio, and that became my biggest hit.
Can you tell me, right? This is one of the things I've always worked on. Is like, how did you find that sample? Like, it's in a 6-minute song.
Just searching and searching. I mean, sometimes you just throw the needle on and listen while you rolling one up, or just moving around the room, and one ear is listening to that, the other ear may be checking a message. Well, back then we didn't have text messages in 1993, but you're just listening, or I just needle dropping. Sometimes I call it rush sampling. Like, I'm in a hurry to get it done. I'll time myself. Like, I got to get this beat done within this amount of time, and I'll just start searching, and your ear just catches stuff. And then I knew sound-wise what I was looking for. I could kind of hear it in my head, and I start to look for samples that kind of remind me of what I'm looking for. And then when I just heard that little breakdown, I just wound it back, because I already had the drums running. And so being the drums already running from the EPMD, You're a Customer, I just kept releasing it, just by hand. It's like, yeah, that's it.
That's sick,
looped it. Gurus in the other room just chilling, because we had a pool table at our studio, D&D, where we roll dice. And that was another thing, just rolling dice all the time. And Guru was like, that's it. That's it.
Man, that's sick.
He wrote it and just pinned it right there. Everything was always pinned right there after I make the beat.
I was waiting for that. I was waiting for that story, man. That's my jam. So, man, before anything else, then before we have to leave you, I need to hear the top 5, like Premier's top 5 MCs. And I know you
MCs?
Hate MCs.
It's more than 5 though.
They change every day. Yeah. I'll give you that.
I definitely got to put Big Daddy Kane. No particular order. Rakim is definitely number 1 for me. Coogee Rap. KRS One. Melly Mel.
Oh, sick.
5, yeah.
Okay. And one other thing, what we're doing this year, we want to know, like, everyone's favorite albums of the year. Sonically, we've all moved, but this is a very traditional sound you brought back. I just want to know where Primo is right now. Like, this year, what are some of your favorite records, would you say, that you've
this year? Definitely West Side Gun, Hitler Wears Hermes 7. I would say the just that whole Griselda team, Conway's album, It's here we go. Look What I Became. I gotta put Benny the Butcher. His album, which was The Plugs I Met. Good album. What else in 2019? Oh, the new Compton's Most Wanted, the Gangster Business. Good album. Yeah, Gangster Business. I would also say, you know what? I can look at what I purchased. I still buy albums. So
you want to own it, right? That's
yeah,
the same as.
So I can look at what I purchased. So okay. David Bars, which is a project I just worked on with Showbiz, Lord Finesse, the Beat Miners, Buck Wild, and Breakbeat Lou. It's an EP called The Barcode. He's from the Bronx. He's a dope MC. It just came out a week before last. So look out for that. And he's working on an album which actually caught the attention of will.i.am, who said he would like to sign him to his label. So we're working on the album that we just did as well. The album also featured all of us that's mentioned, also Kid Capri's on it. Wow. Lord Finesse has a crew called the Bossmen. They play live instruments, but they make it sound like samples. So the Bossmen, it's quite a bit of people on there, but that's going to be coming out. I like Mike Posner's project, Keep Going. That was dope. What else? Fred the Godson. Yeah, that's new.
I like the fact you listen to a lot of newer acts as well. That's quite good, man. It feels good, like someone who's still keeping up to date and not just being stuck in that time capsule.
Yeah. No, we stay pure to the whole scene.
I love that, man.
Yeah, just off the head, that's what comes to mind.
Yeah, man. Primo, man. Thank you, man. Thank you for blessing us.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you for coming on. Anytime you got any new projects, man, we're here. We're here for it, man.
Appreciate
Seriously.
it, my man.
And just last thing I've got to ask you, man, is the last great song you heard. Could be old, could be new, but the last great song where you're like, man, I forgot how good this was.
The last great song I just heard, just period?
Yeah, just like something you heard this morning or...
Let's see. There's a record by this guy named G Huff. The song's called Another Dead Rapper, and
that's a sick title.
Yeah, it's just raw beats and rhymes.
Okay. Yeah. I'm on it, man. Yeah. Thank you again, Primo, man. Right. You take it easy, brother. Bro, and just keep doing, man. No definitely.
Doubt. All right.
Hey, yo, this your boy Foul March, and right now, you are rocking live with the Crate 808 podcast. Enjoy this week's episode, and just remember to subscribe and rate and review. Peace.
Well, there you go, guys. DJ Premier coming on Crate 808 to just give us a little bit of insight into the new album, into his process, into his history. I mean, I didn't know much about the Travis Scott link there. I didn't know much about what they were saying, and I'm so glad I got to sit down with a living legend and just bring you, even though there's only a small amount of time we got with him, just bring you just some insight and just get an idea on stuff like the Mass Appeal sample, which is just something I've always wanted to ask him. So I just wanted to say, man, big up everyone who's followed us, big up everyone who's made this podcast possible, because just getting to sit down with a legend like that, man, ever grateful just to chat to him and just to meet someone, who's kind of shaped your childhood. But yeah, man, I know it's quite short. I hope you got a little bit out of it anyway. There are tons of premiere interviews out there. He's just done the rounds, man, and he's been talking to everyone. And so I'm sure all you Gangstarr heads, all you Boom Bap heads are probably going to check all of them. But if you haven't got time and you haven't got the energy to check all of them out, I would just say Take It Personal's podcast by the Filler Flavor crew in the US did have such an in-depth discussion with him, so please go check them guys out. We had the pleasure of chatting to them as well, so obviously there's a bit of bias coming my way, but I love podcasts out there. I love all you guys, Dad Bod, Rap Pod, Notorious POD, Shotgun the Yorks, Killer Keller, Rhymes Like Dimes, all you guys, man, we've got love for all of you. But yeah, I had to shout out that one because the Primo chat on that is in depth, so yes, go check that out. And to be fair, those guys are going to come on the podcast at some point. We have got a recording in the can, and we have talked about Gangstarr. I won't tell you about which album, but yes, that is also coming. Yeah, man, we've got loads of guests in the can ready to go. We've just had an unreal response from everyone, and getting like living legends on to talk to us. We thought we'd put them out first. Big up Grindhouse Music. Can never forget, man, Grindhouse Music doing the music on here. Yeah, man, that boy. Go check him out if you want anything done. And big up everyone who's just giving us love, man. The Hip Hop Connection crew, and just an unreal year we're having, and people just talking to us like Andrew Emery. We got a little chat with him coming soon as well. Rob Percy, I see you, bro. I see you out there doing your thing. Ill Will Levine, we want you in as well. We're going to get that happening. And yeah, just people out there who kind of are forming my opinions on hip hop as I grew up. Man, now you're talking to me, and this is all I'm talking about, man. This is the love of the game. Either way, we out here, we out for the love. Check us out, crate808.com, crate_808 on Instagram, where there's just been so much response after Pharaoh, and now Primo's going to drop, and then we got a few other names I can't really say now, but they're coming as well. We've got some more debates, we've got some more reviews hopefully coming as well. And yeah, man, just please rate, review, subscribe. If you can go out there and just show the love and just tell everyone who's into 90s hip hop about this podcast, that'd be great. And whatever you think we should be doing, hit us up, man. Least hip hop things you've done in your life, please hit us up. Anything you just think you want to respond to us, albums we should cover, debates we should have, blah 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 blah, mate, just hit us up. Either way, I shall catch you on the flip side. I know this is short but sweet, but I hope you enjoyed it. Enjoy your week. Tomorrow, get up, play some Wu-Tang bangers, play some hip hop bangers, live your life. Positivity, you know what I'm saying. Get out there and just, enjoy life right now, man. That's what it's all about. And I shall catch you on the flip side with some more 90s hip hop content. Peace. Mate, thank you, man. Thank you. Yes, I know. I'm sorry, man. I ran over, but I was like, trying to just squeeze in.
Yeah, it's all good.
Is that all good? Thank you, man. Perfect.
Sure.
But yes, bro, all my mates, we do this 90s podcast. We've been doing it for like about 7 months.
Okay.
And your name gets mentioned on every episode. It's like going, Premier would have done this, and Premier would have done that, and Premier would have done that. So I had like reams and reams of things I was going to talk to you about. But
we can always set it up again.
Next time, man. Definitely.
Yeah, for sure.